Hi, folks. Welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at FTLcast and at FTLcast.com. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/FTLcast. Today, we're playing Catbox by Marness. For those of you who are new to this game, here are the basics. Catbox is a GM-less tabletop game meant to evoke crime thriller movies about people with differing agendas all stuck in the same place. Think of things like Reservoir Dogs, The Hateful Eight, Hotel Artemis, or Bad Times at the El Royale. Each player will play a character with a secret agenda to complete, one that may or may not place them in direct opposition to the other characters and NPCs they are trapped with. I'm Cory, and you can find me here with you. My pronouns are he, him. Playing with me today, we have August.
Hello, I'm August. You can find me on Tumblr at Strange Harpy, on Blue Sky at Harpydora, and my pronouns are they, them.
And we also have Shrug.
Hello, I am Shrug. You can find me on Blue Sky at The Secret Frog or on Tumblr at Just Secret Frog, and my pronouns are he, him.
Our lines, which are things we absolutely do not want to see, include homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, unwanted pregnancy, plagues, and pandemics. Our veils, which are things we're fine with addressing but we'll just fade to black on, include steamy situations, graphic descriptions of bodily harm, and terminal illness. So, now that we've got all that, let's get started.
Woo!
Catbox. We've been going a little rotatey on this one. we've done some pre-planning and we have some things to talk about on mic. So as mentioned, this is kind of everyone's together in one place. We're all stuck here. We all have different plans for what we need to do. This is also another one that has at least some relation to like, hey, we do a little bit of divination with Arcana, like cards, mostly to select secret agendas. Things that we need to do for setup and things that we have done for that manner have been describing what our setting is, and we can list that out. We've also got our list of characters together, and each of us gets some fun secret assets and plans that we have for each other here. So at least in terms of general information, like why don't we start with the setting and kind of roll outwards from there?
Yeah.
So setting-wise, the way that this works is we get a general name for the setting, and then we have sort of two sides to it. Each of us gets to write down a feature of the setting, and on the other hand of things, we also write drawbacks of the setting. So a feature is things like it has a backup generator or secret passageways between each room. Reasons that we can't leave include things like, or rather a drawback or a reason we can't leave, rather. It can be things like, hey, the driveway is blocked by falling rocks, or there are police robots patrolling the streets outside. This is something that can be adjusted over time also. So as the fiction changes and as the story progresses, like there could be more reasons or features for like things that happen around the setting that we're in, or there could be more drawbacks which keep us in, or more features that are lost as we use them or as they otherwise get destroyed or spent or, what have you. So We started off with an observatory as we're starting out. Like it's the kind of the main idea of where we're sitting right now on a mountain. I think right was the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to figure out features and drawbacks to this joint. What's the situation? How are we thinking? I know that the thing that I mentioned for a drawback at least was that, and this is like one of the main reasons we're stuck here, is that there is currently driving rains happening. And I think you added on flash flooding. So there's a big water situation that's keeping us trapped.
Mhm. Yeah, we cannot get back down this mountain.
Yeah, we cannot descend. The roads are blown out. It's too wet. You get on the forecast, they say it's too wet. Stop doing that.
I know we had talked about off mic a little bit about there being skylights.
Mm-hmm.
So we can add that to the features.
Yeah, we can see outside a little bit, sort of.
Yeah.
And since it is an observatory, on top of that, there is, as would be communicated by the word observatory, there's an observatory somewhere set up on this too. So we can see the sky in two ways, both closely and afar.
Hell yeah. What's another good feature for this setting?
I was thinking like provisioned or self-sufficient, but maybe that should be more specific.
No, it makes sense, right? Like this is probably a location that's remote as a result. So
Yeah. So maybe well-stocked is a good way to put that?
mm-hmm.
Sure.
We don't have to worry about starving out. That's not one of our inherent tensions.
Yeah. Do we have power?
Ooh, good question.
Because one of the drawbacks could be that the power's out.
Yeah.
I think we might have power, but not phone lines.
Okay.
Cut off from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Do we think we're pre-cell phones as well?
Oh man, is this a pre-cell phone situation? Oh boy.
I'm fine with no cell phones.
Yeah. Okay. Let's rock it.
Just for vibes of like time period.
Mm.
We're out here in like the late 70s, early 80s situation. Cell phones were exclusively for like corporate businessmen or something.
Mm-hmm.
God, if it's the 80s, we've got quite the soundtrack at our disposal.
That's so true. Me remembering abruptly again that the 80s are 45 to 35 years ago.
I'm so old.
I'm in pain a little bit.
Says the guy who's seen Depeche Mode twice.
Hell
in
yeah.
concert. All right.
That's 3 and 3. Yeah, we've got a basic setting laid out. So
yeah, I do think it's worth mentioning that in this setting we've decided that, you know, some occult stuff is real. So
yeah,
don't know if that's going to come up, but we decided
not sure if that's a feature or a drawback, but it's just in the air.
Yeah.
It's a question mark. A surprise tool.
Yep. It may help or hinder us later.
We draw it across the middle of the index card I'm imagining in the brain space.
Yeah.
Hey, so we've got characters too, right?
Yeah.
Do we maybe want to go through those?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll explain in sort of high, but the characters that we have, the thing about them is each of our characters have secret agendas and a secret asset on hand. We won't explain those immediately, but we will explain those on mic with some provisions. Because they're secret, each of us cannot know what each of our secret assets and characters, like agendas, are until they come up at some point. So we're going to have some fun trying to figure each other out on that one. But we do have an idea of, and this is what's laid out for everyone to know, character name, occupation, or at least what they say their occupation is, 3 physical traits, 3 skills, and items that they have. So these all can be, the traits and items in particular can be like gained or lost. So those can change over time as well. But we can go top to bottom. And August, I think you had yours up in the first doc.
I do. Because I put the doc together alphabetically.
Yeah, you did.
because I'm smart and know my alphabet. Um,
Yeah, let's go.
yes. My character's name is Marius Favors, uses they them pronouns. Their occupation is professor. Specifically, they're a professor of like folkloric / occultish studies. Their look is, they're a willowy, kind of pale skinned person. They're about 5'4". They have long brown hair that's kept back in like an elaborate braid. They tend to dress kind of severely, often in turtlenecks, even when the weather is prohibitive of that, just because of who they are as a person. Their skills are occult knowledge, attention to detail, and high dexterity. And the items that they have on hand are an antique silver lighter engraved with initials that are not their own, a notepad and pen, and a stash of bobby pins.
Nodding my head rapidly. For my end of things, I have chosen to go back to Warden W. Lockwood, he, him pronouns. Here, he is an astronomer in his own right. For his look, he's got hazelnut eyes, cropped brown hair, some plain half-moon glasses affixed with a chain, rough, sandy-colored skin, a slightly crooked nose, and a 5 o'clock shadow. What he's wearing is a baggy green cardigan, mostly buttoned white shirt, some durable brown denim jeans, and some well-worn sneakers with the soles starting to wear thin. In terms of skills, what Warden has under his belt is astronomical expertise, general knowledge of physics, and the fact that he's actually pretty physically fit from needing to, go outside and look at stars a lot. The items that he has on his person include a pair of binoculars, some basic camping supplies, just kind of in his luggage, and a tarnished golden crucifix necklace. I really give myself a tongue twister there. That's been passed down through his family.
My character's name is Ashley Marshall, pronouns they, them. Call me Ash.
Yeah.
I'm a local guide that's been employed by this town's tourism board. My look is I'm just on the tall side with a well-maintained physique, probably a little bit tanned as well. I've got brown hair that comes to the short tuft of a ponytail. I am wearing breezy khaki clothing, cargo shorts, and a tan shirt with pockets, which probably until we come out into this house has been covered by a very bright blue raincoat. My skills, I have an acute sense of direction, I'm a fast talker, and an expert driver. In terms of my items, I have a metal ring that holds an astonishing tangle of keys. I have a large satchel with, at a minimum, a healthy supply of maps, and I have a waterproof flashlight.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Just by nature of this setting, we also defined a couple of NPCs for funsies. So, this location that we have come to, not only is it an observatory, it's also a house. It's kind of like a lighthouse has its keeper, where the observatory has its keeper as well. So, we've got two of them. We've defined an owner who is a more elderly person. This one is a person by the name of Chestnut Holly, Chest for short, he, him. We also have him being taken care of by one of his adult children, someone by the name of Cashew, Cash for short. Also, he, him on that case. So, okay.
The he's and they's have it.
The he's and they's have it. Today, it's, boys' night, mostly.
Boys gender neutral night.
Boys gender neutral night.
No girls allowed.
Okay. We got some secret assets and missions. Do we want to go through those?
Yes.
Okay.
We should.
So, my character's secret agenda is I am looking to kill someone. As far as the who and why, I think that I'm currently being blackmailed into killing Chess. And my secret asset, because this is Marius, and because the occult is at least nominally real, my secret asset is the summoning name of a ghost.
Okay. My character's agenda is the High Priestess, so this means that Warden needs to uncover a secret of the setting. The secret asset that he has is, and let me pull it back up right quick. Warden's secret asset is knowledge of the sordid past between Chestnut Holly and his grandfather, which I've just referred to as Grandpa Lockwood.
I drew the chariot, which means my secret agenda is to finish a job. In this case, I think that whatever Marius and Warden are investigating, I am responsible. And I intend to finish the occult business that they are here to put an end to. My secret asset is slightly indeterminate. I believe currently that it is going to be some form of amulet that is controlling this rain that has kept us here.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Man, I'm so curious.
I know.
Curiosity killed the cat, and my God, will we ever see if it comes back?
So we all just picked a gun, right?
Yeah, we all just picked a gun. It turns
This is
out
my one joke for the season.
when we said that this was everyone, like Hateful Eight and all that fun stuff, it turned out that we just wanted a three-way standoff this entire time. All of our conversations are taking place at gunpoint.
Yes.
Okay.
Ash's secret asset is a gun. Warden's secret asset is a gun. Marius' secret asset, 2 guns.
2 guns! Wait, hang on. Hold up. Why did you get 2? Gee, Bill.
Gee, Marius.
Yeah. Wavelength. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Okay, so the way that this works is in terms of gameplay. Generally, we'll progress around the table. We'll take turns. It says clockwise if we're around a table. It'll be top to bottom since we're in a group call here. On our turns, we describe where in the setting our characters are, what they're going to accomplish. It could be moving from room to room, searching an area, stealing an object, or talking to another character. Any other characters can react to what happens on that turn as long as they're in the general area. And you can choose to play out a full scene instead of simply describing what happens. Once someone's completed their action and all reactions have been played to completion, then the next person can take their turn. On their turn, we can have challenges. So you can have your character do any action they can think of within reason, and the only checks and balances you have are other players and the limitations of the chosen genre. So we have a fairly realistic, with the exception of occult things coming up. If you have another player that challenges the verisimilitude of an action you've taken, then the player describing the action can try to defend how it can happen within the fiction of the story being told. And once that defense is over, everyone votes to either keep the action as is or uphold the challenge and make the character find another way to accomplish their action. The person that's being challenged does not receive a vote and must abide by the resolution reached by others at the table. And since we're an odd number of people, we're probably going to need to reference a coin at some points in time. So we'll have to keep that on hand too. In addition to that one, we also have the possibility for secret actions. So secret actions can take place in any character's turn between their character and one other. For accomplishing in this one, if you're playing in a physical setting, you could just pass someone a note card. In this virtual one, where you can do text and DMs, saying what we want to happen, which can include things that you do in the main actions, just, kept from the others. So conversations, thefts, handoffs of items, all that fun stuff. And you can converse with the other player in secret until you've hashed out the specific details. Those secret actions can be revealed at any points by either of the participants in one. If something happens that directly affects or contradicts a secret action taken, that secret action must be revealed at that point in time. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card situation is what it is. You do something that triggers it, bam, it's there. In addition to that one, you can have NPCs made within reason by players around the table to serve as some sort of function demanded by the story or setting. If a player's character dies, they can choose an established NPC to be their new character and write a character note card for that NPC. An NPC can also have a secret asset, but they inherit the secret agenda of the character they're replacing, and it's up to the player to decide how and why that happens. The player with the first character to die is an exception to that rule if they so choose, that they can introduce a new character to the setting who is a late arrival. Should be, in theory, someone from that dead character's past, like a relative, partner, boss, or something else. Like NPCs who turn into player characters, though, this late arrival still inherits the dead one's secret agenda. Finally, how the game ends is either when every character's secret agenda is completed, when none are left that can be completed, or when all characters with outstanding agendas decide to abandon them in favor of another purpose. So, lots of things. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling like I want to know what everybody's secret agendas are, and there's only one way to do that, and that is through play.
That is to play to find out. That is so very true. Ayo, all right. We are prepped and ready, and we get to start now, finally. Hey, we're in an observatory. It is raining. It is dark. It is horrible. It is stormy. We are halfway through the most, dark and stormy night situation. We are pulling into this place, or we have already arrived. What's the situation? Like, what's Marius up to in this these opening steps?
I think that kind of depends. Like, are we pulling up?
True. Yeah.
I think it could be interesting either way, whether we're pulling up now or whether we've been here for a little bit. But I'll leave it up to the table to decide which, because I'm good either way.
That's fair. Yeah, I think let's play it this way, right? We have arrived and we've been here. Whether in this situation, because we don't have like cell phones that keep us in access of information at all times, weather is down to the radio and if anyone checked the forecast that morning, right? Mm-hmm. And it could be, in this case, at the time that we left, at least, maybe in the morning or the afternoon, it was looking like partially cloudy with a chance of storms. And now that we've arrived here, I think we've been here for a little while and gotten settled. And I think now the chance of storms has become a now is storm situation. And we're suddenly getting pounded by pouring rain. Mm-hmm. But we're in the building at least. We have parked the car. We have gotten our things inside. So we're not rushing there. We're just now suddenly trapped. And it kind of gets in the way of the plans that we had for being up in a high mountain observatory, doing whatever it is that we planned to do in this case. For Warden, I think that's obvious. Cloud cover keeps him from looking at the stars and making observations of celestial motion. For Marius and Ash, I think this is up to question. How y'all feeling?
Feeling pretty good.
Nice.
I think for this opening act, I think maybe is it too cliche for there to be a study?
No, I don't think so.
No, of course not.
Yeah. This is a high place that is remote. I don't know yet what type of person Chess is, but it would be if people are meant to be here to do observations of the stars or other sorts of things that you can only achieve somewhere remote, it makes total sense for there to be a study present.
Yeah. I just think it's fun if we start out in this study then.
Sure.
And anybody is free to be here with Marius. But I think Marius is definitely in the study, like, looking through the items there. Not trying to hide that they're looking at this stuff, but, kind of, it's more than just idle curiosity, I think, if somebody's there to observe them.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah, I think Warden would be doing the same, although for his part, it's a lot simpler. Like, he can't do his work right now, so rather than trying to see something through impossible rain bouncing off the telescope lens, he is looking through books to see, like, hey, what are star charts and such, or even just get an idea of, like, hey, what is this observatory like? I think for him, he maybe has been here before a couple of times, but it's always been like in and out kind of things, right? You do your observations, maybe you stay overnight, but you never really have enough time to just sit and read.
Mm-hmm. The next question. Oh, you were going to ask the same question I was going to ask, so you go first.
Is Ash present is what it was, yeah.
I think Ash walks in a little later.
Okay.
Having ventured out for a second to try to get the car a little more secure so it doesn't literally get washed away off of the mountain. Mm-hmm. Like, put out some blocks or something.
That's fair, yeah. So I guess we're imagining then in this situation that the observatory for where it is, it's probably just gravel roads then, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, what's the plan, Marius? What are you doing? Your action is searching for something?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how much I want to say about, like, what Marius is looking for, but I would say, like I said, they're looking with more than just idle curiosity here.
Okay.
And are we all on a first name basis?
That's a good question. If we, and by we I mean Marius and Warden, are at least at the same university, I think our fields are tangential to each other. There are contact points, but they may not cross over per se.
Mm-hmm.
Warden is not a closed-off person by nature, but unless they have had a formal introduction, I think they are, or like an introduction rather outside of just like passing in the halls. I think they are likely to say like Dr. Favors or something to that nature, rather than just saying, "Oh, hey, Marius," you know.
Yeah.
I think also some of this depends on like how Marius like presents themselves too.
I think that Warden has maybe seen all of like 2 people refer to Marius as Marius.
Okay.
And everybody else is just like Dr. Favors.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And that's the question too. Like, does Marius refer to Warden as Mr. Lockwood, or does Marius just call him Warden? How imbalanced are we here?
I think it's Mr. Lockwood.
Okay. Dr. Favors and Mr. Lockwood.
Are you Mr. Lockwood, not Professor Lockwood or Dr. Lockwood?
I think, yeah, for Warden's end of things, like, he's still got some time to go for postdoc or in doctorate. Okay. So he is in a master's degree situation, and he is doing work as an astronomer, but he has not yet reached a doctorate.
Okay.
So I'll note that as a general piece of information. General info, just so it's there. Not a doctor. Mr. Lockwood is fine. Let's put some tension on it. So we're both in the same place, and Marius is looking for things specifically. I think Warden is just casting around. I feel like, because he would be piling up books just to kind of read idly and to get a sense of what's going on around the place. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say he's probably picked up a couple of the books that you want.
Okay.
Yeah, like they're sitting in his pile. He's just set himself up at a desk, and he's just kind of flipping through them and skimming them for information and such. And there's just a couple that are buried somewhere in his like 6 or 7 books that happen to be of interest to Marius.
Okay. Yeah. I think Marius would, after noticing that the books that they want are in Warden's pile, they would kind of clear their throat and be like, Mr. Lockwood.
Dr. Favors, what can I help you with exactly?
I was wondering if I could avail myself of some of the reading materials that you've acquired.
Oh, well, I'm happy to lend it over, but which of these draws your interest exactly? And he'll sort of scoot out from his spot and like gesture to the books that he has in them. I haven't gotten through them all, but I'd like to look at each of them eventually.
Well, that is one of the beauties of the written word. It is rarely consumed upon its use.
He just nods. Yeah, that makes sense too.
Marius being a little shit. And I think they'll gesture to a couple of the tomes on the bottom of the stacks. And they're not what you would think they are, or they would be, that would attract Marius's attention. You know, you'd think that Marius would be interested in more of the star charts, you know, because of their tangential relation to like astrology and various other occult practices. But it's actually a couple of journals.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, and I think a Warden will pause for a bit and like sort of pull them out from more the bottom end of the pile and hold them up to look at the covers and go, these, they're just logs, aren't they? I mean, I wanted to see if they might have written anything down about past movements and maybe strange things that they noticed in the celestial bodies above, but I didn't think that they would be immediately of interest to anyone.
Consider it academic curiosity, and since we're going to be here for a while, I figured I would indulge in it.
Oh, well, fair enough. He'll offer them out, though he'll tilt his head a little bit. I guess, what's your interest in these logs, then? It's not really like a pointed question. This is more just, hey, academic to academic connection. What's your situation? What you studying, huh?
I just have a hunch about something and want to confirm or deny that hunch before I speak to anything further.
Research before you state the hypothesis in full. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I think he'll take a moment and pull out, like, just an index card and a pen from one of the nearby tables and just write those 2 books down so that he remembers what they were and can go back to them later.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, he's like, okay, well, it seems like all the time in the world to try and figure this out, so I'm not in any rush. I can just focus on the external while I can't look at it for now.
Don't worry, I will return them to you in pristine condition.
I'd be worried more about the, Mr. Holly's interest in them more than mine, and their interest in their condition specifically, but he just sort of looks around a little bit too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Have you happened to see Ash anywhere, our guide?
It's at that point that the door opens again, and Ash walks in. Their raincoat has been hung up in the front hall, but their face is, dappled still with raindrops. Their shoes they've gotten any mud off of them as best they can, but Marius may be displeased at the drip still coming off of them, but it's clear that they managed to avoid the worst of their clothes getting soaked through. Well, Professor, Mr. Lockwood, I've got good news and bad news, and they're both that the car isn't going anywhere.
I'll take that more as good than bad, given everything that's going on outside.
It certainly beats the alternative.
There isn't anything left inside that you might need a hand with, is there?
Oh, no. I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
The Hollies keep this place pretty well stocked, from what I remember.
Yeah, Warden will nod.
But whatever you're trying to study up here, I certainly hope you wanted a lot of time to do it in.
This did become a bit more of a retreat than I planned for, but that's fine. There are other things that I can do here besides just look through the telescope eyepiece.
As long as there's means to do laundry, then I suppose it won't be too bad.
Yes, I can't imagine the Hollies would leave us bereft of being able to clean ourselves in the midst of everything that's happened. I mean, we are imposing a bit on their hospitality, but none of us, I don't think, planned for a rainstorm of this magnitude.
Well, if nothing else, I'm sure you'll be able to get some soap flakes and stand outside for a few seconds, and that ought to do it.
That really would take care of the job rather quickly, wouldn't it?
Assuming one didn't get washed away in the process.
Or given a rather good reason to not return to the modal coil by way of lightning. It would be one heck of a jumpstart. Mixed Marshal, did you have any plans for up here?
Plans? Well, my plans are your plans. And you, my good academics, have hired me by the hour.
There is that, but I couldn't help but wonder if you maybe had some other reasons to be up here too. I mean, this is a bit of a remote spot.
Well, still counts as a local attraction. Definitely within my purview, I'd say.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think Warden, for his part, For him, it's mostly just keeping to casual conversation for now. He's not super concerned yet with what it is that either Marius or Ash is doing, so he's content to live and let live and sort of get back to his books.
Cool. I think Marius has accomplished what they were hoping to accomplish in this particular moment, so if we wanted to call that scene and move on.
Any last words from Ash?
Not for this scene.
Okay, Anzer. I think what Warden is sort of around is he's got his books, he's got his things, so he's got something to occupy the work hours that he set out. I think in addition to that, though, like he'll be going to speak with Cash. Like this is somewhere that he's been familiar with, and he's been a couple of times. He's visited with family like early on in younger years, and he's kind of wanted to get to know like the setting of the place more now that he's gotten older and appreciated that this has been around for a while. So I think he talks to Cash about the history of the observatory. Does anyone want to jam with that, or are we cool with just leaving that to description?
I mean, I can play Cash if you'd like, yeah. Or August, if you want to take Cash.
No, you can go. I'll take chess if it ever comes up.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's one of the situations where it's not looking like things are letting up, and Warden can only read books for so long, as much as he likes them. So he's got to eat eventually. And I think the original plan might have been like, oh, come up, do our things overnight, maybe catch a meal in a diner, like a 24-hour kind of situation later as we leave. But no, that's not happening. So I think he'll be by the kitchen, and I think he'll try and catch Cash as we pass through for like a dinner type meal. Just putting something together that's functional. He's never really learned to cook in any major way, but he can make like camp food and such, so he can throw down some canned food that he'll fry up in a skillet with like a little bit of like a soup can in a saucepan, like boiling over onto the side. I think with that too, as he sort of sits and waits for them to cook, that's where he would sort of wave if Cash happened to pass by the kitchen situation.
Is Warden familiar with Cash? Or has it been years?
Yeah, I think it's been years. I think he is more familiar with Chess, mostly just because Chess has been the one managing the observatory for a while. But I think Cash is someone that he may have known about in passing through photos and things, but he's never met personally.
Mr. Lockwood, I see you're making yourself quite at home.
Mr. Hawley, I hope you don't mind. I just thought that, well, since we'll be here for a bit, I would try and maybe make a little something for most of us to have. It's not a grand affair necessarily, but a humble meal can't hurt every often, can it? Or every so often, can it?
Yes, well, I suppose I ought to be grateful, but you have, say, stolen a bit of my thunder as host.
And I do apologize a bit for the imposition, too.
No, it is getting to that hour, of course.
If you don't mind my asking, and Warden will sort of cast a gaze around the room, how is it that you came to be here in the observatory, I mean?
I myself?
Mm-hmm.
My father, of course. He's not as young as he likes to pretend. And with things the way they are, I'm glad I opted to move back home when I did. I wouldn't want to have him alone up here in this storm.
The steady march of years. That's fair.
The weather is pleasant. It's bad enough.
Yeah, this certainly was a surprise to me as well. At least I didn't expect it to be quite this much. But it was just that, just familial care, no personal reasons for it, or there's a little bit of a gaze in Warden's hand.
I find that to be sufficient reason. be living here.
Okay. Do you happen to know much about the history of the observatory at all? Like things that have happened with it before?
I think you'd better ask my father about that.
Well,
He's the scholar
I mean,
at this.
I have talked to him here and there, but I was hoping maybe to get a bit of a different perspective up here. I've obviously brushed shoulders with him a couple of times in the past, in the far past even, but I was hoping that maybe someone of his family may have an understanding that is not apparent to someone that has been here a while. Fresh eyes, And I think it's at this point, too, when Warden starts to fidget a bit with the necklace that he has on under his shirt.
I don't know much about the history of this place. I know that my father had new, lenses put into the telescope array at not inconsiderable expense. And yet refused to upgrade many of the other amenities of the house. Not that at that point we could have afforded much, but if he wants to keep living here, then sooner or later he's going to have to.
Okay. I can certainly understand someone that values their work to that measure. And it's not as if it's insufficient accommodations up here. I mean, at least most of civilization has gotten by with a roof over the head, a warm fire, and the expectation of continued shelter, so I can't imagine that this would be too much different. If anything, I'd argue we're a little further along than then, so... Warden smiles a bit nervously because he realizes that might have been a bit of a flippant comment.
Well, I do hope you find that we have a little more to offer for you than a campfire and a couple of planks of wood over your head.
Oh, much more than that, really. If anything, I'd actually planned on being under, at most, a bit of canvas, so it is a bit relieving to have a proper bed and warmth. Of course, the telescope holds most of the answers, but some things you can only really answer for yourself when you're a little bit away from the lights of civilization, too, so...
Yes, I did mean to tell you.
Oh?
I don't know if you've heard the latest forecast, but they said now that the storm has actually hit the mountain, it looks like it's going to stay here for at least another day, maybe 2.
Okay. Well, then I certainly do apologize for imposing for such a while.
Well, what's to be done about it now, I suppose? I know that you stargazers are exacting about your times and dates. It may be a while yet before that telescope's of any use to you.
Well, we have access to the star charts and the history of them, and I have some ideas of what I came here to see. I did plan out for at least a week of the motions that were out here, but I can truncate that, and that's fine, as long as I can catch sight of what I was hoping to find. But at the same, if there's anything that I can do for you at least, then I'm more than happy to at least assist in exchange for a continued stay.
Cash just gives a terse smile, glancing over at the frying and the bubbling going on in the stovetop. No, by all means, seems that you're getting by just fine on your own.
Well, even so, there could be something where more than just my functional cooking could be of help. I mean, I do have 2 hands and 2 legs, after all.
Well, and if there's anything you need assistance with, can of course come find me. As I know where we keep things around here. Suppose I should go find everyone and inform them there is soup on.
Very well. Well, I'll get this portioned out, and it shouldn't take too long. But thank you also. And Warden will nod a bit profusely.
Is that a scene?
I think that's a scene.
All right.
Warden has question marked on his objective, but there's a thread. Okay, what's Ash up to? What are they doing?
I think, in the meantime, Ash and Chess are having a hushed conversation.
Oh.
Oh.
And I think if Marius wants to at any point be eavesdropping or stumble into this, they can.
Okay. Where is this hushed conversation happening?
I think it's like Chess's office, essentially. Like, I'm sure that he's got, like, his own, like, separate from the study, right? There's got to be, like, this is where I actually do my writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds reasonable, like just a private office that's smaller, a little more cozy, maybe a little cluttered from a lot of knickknacks that Chess has acquired throughout his life.
Yeah.
So
And I think, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna set, like, at what point in the conversation the camera cuts to this.
Yeah. By all means.
Yeah, I think as the camera cuts to this scene, it's Chess kind of hissing at Ash, just along the lines of, you know Cash never would have let you in if he knew that it was you.
Yeah, and I think this is the point where Marius knocks at the door politely and says, Mr. Hawley.
Professor.
And Marius opens the door, comes in, sees Ash, and looks a little taken aback, and says, Mixed Marshal. Pleasure to see you.
Professor Favors? Just, catching up? Not that many tourists coming out to the observatory these days.
I should imagine the piece would be welcomed for a gentleman of, for everyone involved.
And I think Ash just attempts to make a little step closer to the door, like, well, I suppose that I should let the academics, and then Chess cuts them off with, we're not finished here. But, Marius, what did you want?
Again, Marius looks a little like a fish out of water, and they kind of stammer, I was told to find you because dinner has been prepared.
Very good. Well, we'll be along shortly, I'm sure.
All right. I suppose I'll see you in a little bit then.
Yes, tell Cash not to worry, I'm not lost in a chapter this time.
All right. And I suppose I shall see you in a little bit as well, Mixed Marshal.
Yes, of course.
And it's... I don't think that Ash needs to know Marius to know that they're I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but that they clearly did not get out of this exchange what they were hoping to get out of it as they
Huh.
leave.
Okay. Do they stick around to eavesdrop?
I think they do, yes.
Like outside the door. Alright.
Yes.
So I think Ash just continues to chess. Like, of course, I know that Cash wouldn't have let me in, but it wasn't my choice to send these two up here. They asked. And now what are you going to do about it? Toss them off the mountain? Toss me off the mountain? I realize I put us in a difficult position. But does someone want to take over for chess?
Sure.
Does anyone have thoughts on how to continue this?
I think Chess rolls his eyes and is like, of course we're not throwing anyone off the mountain. That would accomplish nothing in the grand scheme of things, but surely you can recognize the difficult position this puts us in.
Of course. 3 more people. And in such an unusual storm, I dare say you couldn't have been prepared for half of this. Professor was elusive about what they were looking for here.
Concerning, to say the least.
Well, if you have any idea as to who I have brought to your doorstep...
Lockwood is at least a known quantity. I don't think we need to worry about him.
Well, no, I certainly wasn't.
Me quietly smiling at the camera that does not exist.
I think it's at this point that Marius chooses to make themselves scarce, having overheard Chess be suspicious of what's going on.
And I don't think the camera will linger on these two. I think it follows Marius instead.
Cool. And I think it's Marius's scene next.
That it is. What's the situation?
I think this is maybe after dinner, and I don't know that this is necessarily a full-on scene, but I do want to solicit some input here. Because after dinner, I think Marius is going to retire to the room that has been designated for them. Well, actually, that's a question. How many rooms are here? Do we each get our own room, or are we all lumped together in like a guest suite?
Oh man, one big bed.
No, not there was only one bed.
I think there are 2 guest suites.
Yeah.
And then it's up to us as to how to apportion them.
Yeah. Someone's on a couch somewhere. Oh boy.
Yeah, like Ash absolutely offers the guest suites to the paying customers of this trip.
Warden feels like turning that down would be rude, so he accepts.
Yeah. I mean, Marius isn't terribly concerned with being rude, but they accept as well. So they're going back to one of the guest suites to read through the books that they bummed off of Warden. And these books are, log books, but also, there's personal observations and stuff in them. And I'm just wondering what you folks think might be in, like, the personal portions of them. Like, what kind of stuff do you think that Chestnut Holly is writing down here?
Okay. I think it's one of those situations, right, where, like, obviously, emotions and whatnot, and here's what's about and all that fun stuff, but it could be kind of like a half, like, sifted through, like, memoir almost of things, just like idle thoughts while you're waiting for the next big thing to come up. Just, this, that, and the other in terms of, like, hey, this is kind of the weather today, or these are who I saw today, or these people came by and visited, or that sort of thing. Whether or not it's just like purely meticulous note-taking kind of thing, just like details and that's it, or if there is a bit of introspection, I think is something that I'll leave up to authorship in this case. Like just how functional of a person that Chess is.
Like how much editorializing he's doing.
That he's doing, yeah.
I think Marius is kind of hoping for a certain amount of like personal observation, but does not find what they're looking for, and kind of closes the book in disgust and picks them up and goes to take them to Warden as promised.
Okay. Is it a case where they're like totally shut out, or are there hints?
I think there might be some hints, but it's still not what Marius is looking for.
Okay. Nodding my head. Yeah. I think Warden, for that point, having heard of that interesting thing from Cash, is probably trying to find or pick through, like, hey, is there like something like a manual, about the new lenses that have been added to the observatory? So he's looking around the more technical side of the study to see if there's any particular notes about that before he retires to bed for the evening.
Okay. Is this a new scene, or is this just where Marius finds Warden when returning the books?
I guess, is there any hint as to what it is that Marius is looking for in terms of information? Or is that something best kept under cover of night for now?
I think in seeing, like, how much personal observation is in the books, that might cause some curiosity, because it's like, what does Marius care about these things?
Okay.
But I don't know that there's any particular hint for what Marius was actually looking for in those books.
Let's pick on that a little bit then.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Warden, for his side at least, he's maybe picked up a couple of like, hey, this is the such and such a model telescope, and it's meant to have these features to it, and he's currently pouring through extremely dry documentation. And even though he is a more like a detail-oriented person, like even this is testing his attention somewhat. So noticing Marius appear will cause him to perk up a bit. Just in general, it's something else that's not this book, which he wants to understand, but is also so dry. It is like sawdust onto the mind. And he'll note the books that Marius is carrying and go, oh, did you find what you needed out of those?
Marius pauses for a second, clearly considering their words, and they say, I have gleaned everything that I can from them, yes.
Oh, what were they like? I mean, I'll be looking at them in a bit, but if there's anything I can look out for in particular.
There were plenty of observations that you might find enlightening, but there's also some personal observations that you might take or leave.
Just things about how the day was, or?
Some things to that effect, yes.
Okay. Well, I guess it can't hurt. It'll at least give a little bit of extra, I don't know if entertainment is the right term, but something to look forward to between observations of motions.
Marius, looks like they want to say something, but then decides against it and just says, well, I suppose I will leave you to your work. I am planning to retire for the evening, so...
Oh. Well, if you'd like to, but it might be of some use to know this, and Warden will hold up the manual. I had a chat with Cash earlier, and he mentioned that the observatory had been upgraded recently, so I was trying to understand maybe the nature of that.
Interesting.
Right? Well, I'm sure that it's just something to boost the clarity or to repair a chip in the lens somewhere, but maybe there's something more to it. I wasn't sure.
I wonder where the funding for that came from.
Well, this observatory's been around for a while. I have to imagine that maybe it's been either something that was from a grant from the town or maybe just a bit of family funding, but I think even Cash was a bit interested to know about that, at least.
I see.
Still, I mean, I have the manual here if you'd like to take a look at some point.
I think I've had enough excitement for one evening. And, they just kind of shrug and continue. I appreciate the offer, but it's been a bit of a stressful evening, so I think retiring is in my best interest.
Okay, well, I've never been much of an early sleeper, so I suspect I'll probably be up for a little while longer if you happen to be around. But if not, then, well, rest well.
You do the same when you get there.
Of course. Okay, yeah. Warden claims back the journals for now.
Yeah, I think that's the end of my scene.
Yep. Yeah, and I think for him, I think he's waiting until the observatory sleeps, essentially. For his part, like, obviously he can't go picking through bedrooms. That's not an easy thing to do when someone's sleeping in them. But I think he does go poking around to see if he can't get into one of the private rooms, either of Cash or of Chess, just to try and find, like, a journal or a ledger or something.
I almost want to challenge that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think that you need to explain a little more how you're going about unnoticed.
Yep. That's totally fair. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, because yeah, it's I imagine at least somebody among the other members of this household, at least the members for now, is probably a light sleeper. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I would say that if Ash is taking a couch, they might be more central and be more likely to notice you. But hey,
True.
Cory, was there a secret action you needed to note between scenes?
Yep. There is, in fact, a secret action, so let's handle it. So, sort of in the later hours, after at least Marius is retired, I think Warden would reach out to Ash. In this case, Warden communicates the following. He just passes a note for now, but he's like, hey, I would like to see if there's anything just extra about the observatory that's not necessarily out in the study. He would offer Ash a bit of extra pay under the table to look around in some of the quieter areas about the history of the observatory or otherwise that's there. How does Ash take this offer for extra employment?
I think there's a moment where you can tell that they look surprised at the specific request, but they roll with it pretty quickly. Well, I can't promise much. I don't get up to this observatory very often. Certainly not recently. But I suppose I could try to look around.
If you can, I might have a lead that'll help a bit.
Oh. What might that be?
Something about the telescope lenses and where that came from. I mean, I'm sure that Mr. Hawley is well off, or at least well off enough to continue to maintain this place, but Cash seemed very mystified at where that came from, at least in addition to everything else here, and I'm curious, let's just say. about it myself.
Well, it's not my home, and I'm not sure where to look for that information. If not for the study.
How often have you guided people up here before?
Well, let's see. I would say that you're first this year, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have remembered anyone else.
Okay,
You can tell Ash is being intentionally cagey.
that's fair. I can't suggest much, and I'm certainly not equipped for this, but I always know that there's something in the basement. Maybe that could be somewhere to look?
There's a flash of something in Ash's eyes as they seem to connect to puzzle pieces. Something tells Warden that it isn't your two puzzle pieces. Well, I'll do what I can, Mr. Lockwood.
Okay, I'll appreciate it. And this, if you're able to find something, then I'll scrounge up a little extra for you.
Ah, well, don't go to that much trouble.
And here, I think Warden will reach into his wallet for a moment and provide a couple of crisp bills, at least. And just so you're not working, completely with a promise and nothing in hand.
Well, appreciate that. That seems more than enough. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. He'll nod his head. Shall we call that done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So this secret action, I think, will also preclude this somewhat then. Okay, so for Warden's part, at least, and this is the reason why he's able to make it through, even with Ash being a little central, Warden has requested something of Ash to find information about the observatory in a quieter area. In fact, the place that he suggested Ash look was the basement.
All right.
Yep.
Nice secret action, Cory.
Hey, I plant the
Yeah.
seeds.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a really reasonable reason for you to be able to do this, so.
Nice. Hey, what kind of secrets is Chess keeping in a private desk somewhere?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think that there's definitely a false bottom to one of the drawers.
Okay.
And I think let's spice this up a little bit.
Yeah, let's get
I
spicy.
think the drawer that has the false bottom has a gun in it.
Oh, okay.
It's not loaded, but it's like, a little snub nose 38 special kind of deal. And it looks well maintained. It doesn't look like it's been used recently, but it does look like it's been, cleaned and oiled recently. So it's not just something that he threw in there. But underneath the gun, there's the false bottom to the drawer, and I think there's at least... Oh, man. It could go two ways.
Mm-hmm.
One way is very... not banal, but very, very normal. And one way is potentially a little out there. And I'm trying to decide which might fit more with my hunches for potential secret agendas.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, we have in the air the occult, right? We can
Yeah.
spread out a little bit from just the natural world, I think.
Yeah. In that case, I think it could be fun if there is... Why not both? There is a ledger that looks to be financial in nature. And there is also another small book that is hand-bound. The cover doesn't have anything on it, But the binding is very nice. It's clear whoever did this, took great care in binding this little book. And inside that book are some writings that are definitely not in English, accompanied with some symbols that look like they could be occult in nature.
Oh boy. That's fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, one of these. Okay. We've got a tome, baby. A verified tome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Warden, will flip through that for a bit, and realizing that he has no capability of reading this, per se, quickly diverts to the ledger. And I think he'll secret that away in one of his blazer pockets before putting the false bottom back in place. And one, resecuring the drawer, and two, quickly hurrying out of there to his private room.
Did you put the gun back?
Yeah, no, the gun's definitely back. He's not moving that thing, and he's not touching it.
Okay, good.
At least as far as getting it out of the way so he can access the false bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Fun times. I'm excited for this turn of events. How's Ash doing? To be continued.
Welcome, one and all, to Riley Hopkins and their amazing friends, the actual play podcast that steals. What does that mean? That means that we take stories from corporations and come back and tell our own fanfic-inspired actual plays with them. We do things like a Star Wars podcast that takes place 300 years after The Last Jedi. What if any Zoids media was good? We tell stories in those spaces that are better than the ones that the corporations tell us, because we're not f***ing cowards. Please, come join us at Riley Hopkins and their amazing friends to hear a plethora of wonderful stories every once in a while on the Moonshot Podcast Network. Riley Hopkins and their amazing friends. Hosted by me, Riley Hopkins.